And I'm impressed that it's starting to actually have beneficial impacts. So, he's got, what is it, 3.5 more years? He's got a long way to go, and he's already making a difference. In my view, that makes Argentina investable. Since it seems like he doesn't have a bullet on his name, there's time to make money on Argentina plays now. So
you're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to Watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. With us now is Lobo Tiggre. Lobo, old friend. We've been seeing each other at conferences and such for many years. And hey, Lobo, it's great to have you back on. We finally got something to celebrate down south of the border in Argentina. I mean,
I thought you were going to say silver breaking north of 30.
Oh, that too. I mean, but that was a foregone conclusion. It was always never a question of if, just a question of when. Hopefully, it'll hit 50 before we depart the planet. I have a feeling it's going to hit 50 and keep going. If you listen to Eric Sprott, he says $300 silver. I find that hard to believe, but then again, I never doubt anything that Eric Sprott says.
Well, if you inflation adjust the 1980 peak, it is triple digits. It's kind of, you don't even want to say the numbers because it's embarrassing. It sounds like you're wearing a tinfoil hat or something. But that's true. If you inflation adjust the previous peak, it's kind of amazing times. But let's go south of the border, amigo. The amazing things going on in Argentina. Sorry, it's not Mexico. Mexico's going the wrong direction. It really looks like not only a populist pandering politician, but an environmentalist is about to take over there. And by the way, this has investment consequences. I mean, they're talking about banning open pit mining, and people are saying, oh, well, underground mines are safe. No, if you've got a government stupid enough to ban open pit mining, it is clearly hostile to mining, all mining.
Yeah.
And so don't kid yourselves. Mexico's definitely going the wrong direction. Buyer beware. But we wanted to talk something good news, right? And
yes,
the Argentina thing, I've never personally met Milei. I have to say, it raised my hackles when he hugged Trump. But you know what? It raised hackles with Trump as well. He was clearly not a hugger.
Not a touchy-feely kind of guy.
Yeah. But just, if nothing else, the ideas the man espouses now from the office of president of country, like just how many people have heard of Hayek and Mises now who hadn't before, and unless they watch that boxing match, but that's a whole nother conversation. Just that bully pulpit alone is a good thing for the world to have this voice. But he's not just talking the talk, he's walking it and slashing government spending left and right. There's a lot he can't do that he wants to do because he doesn't have a congressional majority. He's just the executive. But the sort of backhanded good news here is that in Latin America, the executives have a lot of power. So he has been able to unilaterally just slash spending left and right and close things down. As everybody's probably known, the Argentine peso, ironically, has become the best performing currency in recent trading because he's slashed inflation from 300% to like single or low double digits. It's amazing that he even got a chance. But even more amazing is how he's actually doing some of these things. And this has, besides ideological importance, but let me go there first. I think this is tremendous. This is like it can become the shining city on the hill, an example to the world. If he actually fixes Argentina, they're not out of the woods yet. Like he's slashing stuff left and right. He's still administering the harsh medicine. But if that medicine actually heals the patient, the rest of Latin America has to sit up and take notice, and the rest of the world. His Davos talk, if that, he actually delivers on the values from that, I think that's fantastic. Any intellectually honest person has to sit back and say, well, you know what? Maybe there's actually something to, limited government and free enterprise and all that stuff. I see you want to jump in. Go ahead.
It's what we've always theorized, but never were in a position to actually demonstrate. I mean, really, you have to go back to like Hong Kong, post-World War,
medieval Iceland,
Singapore, Iceland, but Iceland's like, nobody takes Iceland seriously. Argentina, you need to take seriously because every 10 years or less, they have a currency collapse. And there was so much turmoil, and it was just a classic case of a country being totally mismanaged. Not that there's any shortage of that, Lobo, right? But,
right.
You look at that and you just say, wow, these guys...
yeah, that's absolutely. If he can turn this around, you talk about things like the shot heard round the world in 1776. This could literally be something like that. The chainsaw heard round the world. What an amazing thing that would be. So investment implications. I think Argentina is becoming more investable. Like I have been out, like I sold all my Argentina plays years ago. The Kirchners were an absolute disaster. And then I forgot the guy. There was a brief interlude. The previous president, not the one before me, the one before,
he was
tried to do some market reforms, but it was half measures, and he wasn't able to really do anything. He didn't have the guts Milei has, and he failed. And so the country veered farther left, got worse. So now, honestly, it sounds like I'm just trying to do clickbait headlines or something like that. But I sincerely thought once he won, that there was a very high chance that he would get shot. Like the medicine he wants to minister down there would just be intolerable.
Yeah, surgically.
So I'm impressed that he's doing it. I'm impressed that he's still alive, and I'm impressed that it's starting to actually have beneficial impacts. So he's got what is it, 3.5 more years? He's got a long way to go, and he's already making a difference. In my view, that makes Argentina investable. Since it seems like he doesn't have a bullet on his name, there's time to make money on Argentina plays now. So, I'm looking actively in that direction.
Just besides the cutting of the government, he cut the regulations to like next to nothing. So we're going to find out about fertile soil for capitalism, for free markets firsthand. And my guess is he's going to replicate Hong Kong. Now, I don't know if the people are so beat down that they're going to be able to take advantage of what probably is a once-in-a-life opportunity that's been given to them. I don't know about that. That's kind of what concerns me, because you kind of had a similar thing happen in Russia after the fall of communism. And in Germany, East Germany is still lagging. So
squandered opportunities.
Yeah. So the question is, they weren't communists, but they were certainly socialists. Have they been so, so debased in terms of their entrepreneurial outlook that they won't be able to...
Nobody knows for sure. We'll have to see. But, I'm very encouraged that, like I say, there's still more pain to go. The harsh medicine has not been all administered. It's not all done yet. But he's done a lot, and he's hurt a lot. He's a lot of former government employees out there marching in the streets, but his popularity rating is still up. So I think there's hope. I don't count it as a sure thing, but I'm willing to hope now, which I wasn't before.
Hey, never estimate the animosity of the population towards their petty apparatchiks, and that they're happy to see them out of having any power over them. Something about South America, when those tyrants get into power, they're worse probably than even the ones in the United States.
Out of the frying pan into the fire. It's a sad story.
Yeah, really sad. But there is definitely hope now. And inflation seems to capture the attention of a population more than any other injustice that is wrought upon them. Because when you have inflation, and it is an injustice, it's really self-taxation, all the things we talk about. But, in the United States, you see it happening as well. Like you and I, we've lived through inflationary times before. So it's like just something you get through. But to these other people with the entitlement mentality they've been raised with, the younger folk, and now they see the value of their dollar dissipating by the day, this is leading to a backlash in the United States that I didn't believe was going to happen. I thought that we were just all frogs boiling in pot till we were extinct, but evidently they proved us wrong, didn't they?
Well, I've tried that, and the frog won't actually stay in the water. At some point, he gets uncomfortable and he hops out. And so
you turned up the heat too quickly.
When have you ever seen a frog sleeping? Anyway, all right. So, but taking the metaphor to the real world, you turn up the heat, and at some point, it's actually uncomfortable. Right? And so people are going to the store. And what will be really interesting, Kerry, as you say, the younger generations, they just don't have any experience with this. They've never really, they weren't there in the 70s, literally. So they don't know how bad it can be, let alone other countries where they chop zeros off their currency unit periodically. They just don't understand how bad this can be. They're starting to get it. And, you have sticker shock when you go into the supermarket. I was just reading today that, I don't know when this will be posted, but as you and I are recording, there was news that Target and Aldi, which is already a low-cost food store, are cutting prices on certain items, on basic items, because people are racking up credit card debt to buy groceries. Grocery debt. Okay, it's one thing to use a credit card at a supermarket because you want to get airline miles or whatever. It's another thing to rack up debt just to feed your family. Like this can't end well. And, you've got Team Biden out there saying, oh, we've got the greatest economy in the world. What's wrong with people? Why doesn't Joe get any credit for this? But just go to the store. And it's not anecdotal when large chains like that are responding to really what is it, a measure of desperation or an act of desperation to be charging up your cards to the hilt to buy groceries. That's clearly unsustainable. And it's happening right now while we have the greatest economy in the world. So
how could that be?
I think inflation is just one of those things that it many other things are theoretical or philosophical or maybe even religious, but this reaches right into your wallet or purse and it steals from, and it pisses people off. So maybe
good call.
Maybe we'll have a learning opportunity here.
I remember, back in the 70s, there was a McDonald's commercial and this little kid goes, "Daddy, what's inflation?" And I cannot find this, by the way, anywhere on the internet. It's been scrubbed. And he goes, "Son, that's when the price of everything goes up and your father's pay stays the same." It's like the best definition of inflation ever from a McDonald's commercial, no less. Right? Yeah.
We had a cartoon I posted on my Twitter feed, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago now, of just like that. It's like 1930s cartoon, and this Monopoly board type guy with top hat, lots of wheelbarrow full of money, goes in the store and he comes out with a barrel on straps because the guy inside the store is literally jacking up the prices. Like he has jacks. The guy used to lift an old car and he's jacking up the prices. But so this will be an interesting learning experience, and the backlash. What strikes me is really interesting, Kerry. And I'm a gold bug, and I like hard assets, gold in my hand. But the younger generations have already had a lesson about fiat currencies from the crypto crowd. Now you add inflation to that, it goes from theoretical, like fiat can be printed, governments can print it, to an experiential thing. And to a point where it actually creates discomfort in your life. Mm-hmm. This could be a watershed moment that actually changes not just economic behavior, but voting behavior for younger generations. And, maybe, and I'm not a Republican, I'm a libertarian, so I'm not trying to take sides between the GOP and the Dems, but I can imagine young people who have thought, oh, the Dems are the nice guys, and suddenly having this understanding that they're being stolen from, and say, that's not nice. Like maybe there's something to this free enterprise approach, and letting people keep the money they earn and stuff. Maybe we'll have a little bit of an awakening there. I'm an optimist. I'm not predicting this. I'm just saying maybe there's some hope there too.
Maybe. Hey, I hope you're right, of course, and we all do. But hey, time will tell for sure. So. Gold and silver, how high can they go here?
Well, you know that I don't like to make price predictions, but we are, and I'm pretty sure maybe 2 interviews ago, we talked about this looking forward to 2024. And I said gold could easily go up 10, 20% without any fireworks or anything strange happening, which from about 2000 would imply 2,400. Well, here we are a couple months in, we're already at 2,400. And none of the things that I thought would push gold higher, recession, money helicopters, that sort of thing, none of that has really happened yet. So there's a couple of things you could say. Well, one, I was wrong. Okay. 2, but if that outlook is still right, if your audience agrees with me that the United States is not going to escape the consequences of these rapid rate increases and the money printing and all this stuff, then that upside is still ahead of us. So if we're looking at 10 or 20% higher, but from 24 instead of 2000, do the math. We're closer to 3 than 2, and it's pretty exciting. Now, I don't even want to put the number out there because then people will say, "Oh, Lobo, you said it's going to 3,000. It's not," or whatever. All I'm saying is that an Austrian or fundamental view of the economic scenario is very bullish for gold. The new buying from central banks and other deep-pocketed institutions, I think it's not the sort of thing that just goes away. The central banks of the global South don't just suddenly decide that, hey, we're best friends with the Fed now. And that buying doesn't go away. The people that are the deep pockets that are hedging with gold now, not just because they see the inflationary writing on the wall. I think the 2 hot wars that we have, either of which could literally turn into World War III, are the kind of thing that make people, not just want to hedge their portfolios, but maybe hedge it with something physical that works when the internet doesn't, right? So, I just don't see that going away. I don't see that buying drying up and blowing away in the dawn breeze. It'll go, it'll come, nothing goes up forever in a straight line. But the reasons for that buying, I just don't see it going away. And then on top of that, we still have the money helicopters and the economic push. Gold always does well in a recession, and silver is happily tracking gold again. So, I don't want to sound like Kramer with one of those big red buy buttons, and there be correction before it goes up again. Sure, it's gone up pretty fast already. Some correction and consolidation would actually be pretty normal here, but by the end of this year, I think we're looking at a much higher gold dollar exchange rate. I do see gold as money, so I see it as a forex question, not a commodities price. And I do think silver will track gold. It's at least the data right now is telling us that silver has stopped tracking copper more than gold recently, and is back to tracking gold more tightly again. And that makes me very optimistic for both this year.
And copper hasn't been doing bad either. We had
no, not at all.
$5 copper. And
sure. No, copper. And again, to be perfectly frank, I completely missed this run up to record prices in copper. I've been concerned about the recession that has kept me from allocating money in that space. I didn't make money on this one. Sorry. But you know what? I'm done fine with gold and silver. Can't kiss all the girls. I'm okay with that. And if I had said, buy all the metals, and then we got that recession sooner than expected, they would be negative. So I don't regret the call. Given the same information, I would make the same call again.
Agree.
And I guess the so what or the takeaway from that is, if you think I'm right about undeniable recession in the United States this year, as those long and variable lags finally kick in, then you really want to think about how much copper or any industrial mineral you are exposed to in your investment portfolio.
Hey, and we got election instability. Who knows what the U.S. is going to look like after the election? Hey, we got crazy civil unrest all over the place. All these things mitigate or militate for a higher gold and silver price.
Yeah. What a world where it's not just libertarian tinfoil hat types like us, but it's Ray Dalio saying there's a 40% chance of civil war in the United States. Like, wow. It's not what he said, it's who said it.
Yeah.
That is really a sign of the times.
Yep. Hey, agreed. Well, interesting things to talk about. Lobo, tell us where we find you. How do we subscribe?
Well, thank you very much. It's independentspeculator.com. I'm traveling, so I don't have the banner over my head. Quick sales pitches, really easy. Sign up for my free letter. See if you like the way I think and I work. If you do, I can't promise you'll agree with everything I say, but I can promise that I will not spam you with a flood of daily advertisements. I hate that crap.
Hey, same here. All right, if you got a question for Lobo, myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And hey, you'll find a link to his site in the show notes for this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. While you're there, sign up for your free newsletter. Lobo, been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next time.
Interesting times. I'm sure we will.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.